and this here may be tough to you. Snack cake to me, yeah, more hostess. This been overdue forever. Asked me when it was dropping, said never. Should've made you cut the feta, but I designed it Freemason Margiela.
What's goody, Shellitronnn here, the most woke, no joking. I'm back to give a brand new video, and I'm gonna keep it a Bowberry biscuit. I have a question for you guys because I do not know the answer. I'm actually torn between the three options that we have here. I'm leaning more toward one, but I'm not 100% sure just how viable that is, so I'm gonna need your help here. And the question is, what should the Panthers do about Daryl Williams? Now, as we all know, I think we can agree that one of their biggest problems for this offseason going into free agency and the draft is the O-line. Also the defense. And if that sounds familiar to you, then you're right, because that was the exact same issues we were having last offseason. We didn't really seriously address the O-line, I think, in my opinion, in the draft at all. I mean, we didn't touch an O-lineman in the draft at all until we got to the UDFAs. And even the guys we had hoped would be a little bit better for us last year, they ended up getting injured, and it kind of derailed us before the season even started. But I'm not getting off track here like I usually do. I mentioned last year for a reason, because in this context, Daryl Williams' story starts from last year. He came off of a really great year. I don't know what he was graded as for a right tackle, but it was up there. It was way up there. I think he was he top 5, top 10? He was really up there for right tackles in the league, and he was basically one of the best in the league at right tackle. But the thing is, there was a report that came out during, I think, either mini camp, maybe even right before a training camp, that said the two sides met, meaning the management for Daryl and the Panthers front office, and there was a, quote, big gap. There was a large discrepancy between the numbers that the Panthers were coming up with and the numbers that Daryl Williams and his representation was coming up with. And he even said it straight up. He's looking for a bag. He really wants to get paid like one of the best tackles in the league. And apparently the two sides just couldn't come to a conclusion and work it out together. The team said, okay, well, how about this? Play out next year. And if you play the way you did just last year, that'll probably get us to pay you, give you a long-term deal, big numbers. And obviously as a player, you don't want to take a deal that would, like, you know, lowball you or whatever, like take you for what you think would be less than your actual value that you bring to the team. And you think, okay, I'm just going to bet on myself here. For the most part, you don't even have to improve by a lot. All you have to do in that situation is play the same way as you did that last year, and you'll get your money. But the risk in that is, if your play diminishes, or if you get injured, then you lose a lot of your power in negotiation. You have to come down a little bit closer to what the team wants to pay you. Daryl Williams took that risk and ended up getting injured the very first day of full pads of training camp. Probably one of the saddest stories of last year, because honestly, that's when the thoughts started creeping in my head, like mad early. I was like, okay, we're not heading in the right direction. 3 days later, Ross Cockrell goes down. I'm starting to think to myself, okay, we lost our best right tackle, one of the best tackles in the league. Then we lose the guy that we just signed to help us out in the secondary. Two of the biggest positions of need in the offense and the defense. This ain't looking right for us. Fast forward to right now, Daryl Williams is going to be a free agent. So now the Panthers are looking at the question of, do we sign him to a big deal now, or do we let him walk? What are our options for Daryl Williams? Let's get some context here. He's a really great tackle, right? But he had a season-ending injury in training camp, so we didn't get to really see him at all last year. Will he accept a deal that's a little bit lower than what he was looking at last year? But at the same token, there are probably some other teams who are just desperate enough to pay him the money that he's looking for, and maybe he would take a deal from us that may be a little bit less than what those other teams are offering, you know, to give us a hometown discount and stay where he is, or to uproot his whole family and whatnot. I mean, there's teams like the Giants come to mind off top. I mean, they were starting Eric Flowers at left tackle, right tackle. He was so horrible 2-3 straight years. They moved him into the guard position, still was bad. And I just found out before I started recording this video, I looked up Eric Flowers, and for some reason he's on the Jags right now. So just off rip, I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe the Jags will be another spot for Daryl Williams to go to. I mean, they might pay him some money. I'm not sure what their cap space is looking like. But I mean, if you have Eric Flowers on your team right now, blocking for your quarterback, then look, it ain't the right situation for you. And if you're blocking for Blake Bortles, especially on his blind side, you're going to earn that money. The point of this video is to ask the question, what should the Panthers do with Daryl Williams? Do we pay him the big bucks right now, even though he's coming off of an injury that kept him sidelined all last season? Do we let him walk or go somewhere else and then pick up someone in the draft, maybe in free agency, and then risk us missing out on Daryl Williams coming back and having a really good season or solid season for us? Or do we use the franchise tag on him and let him have a prove-it season under a contract that he would probably like, and if he plays well again for us this season, then he gets the long-term deal and everyone basically wins. He gets a big check this year. He gets a long-term deal ostensibly for next year and beyond, and I think everyone would probably be happy with that situation. The only question is, we can only have one franchise tag. Is he the only player that we can franchise tag? I mean, I guess Devin Funchess, but let's not even think about that because I would never. I would be, I don't know, I guess I just watch the AAF for the rest of my life. If we gave Devin Funchess the franchise tag, please, Marty Herney, do not give this man Devin Funchess the franchise tag. I mean, honestly, if we retain Daryl Williams, we can put Taylor Moton at left tackle, and at that point, we still have Trey Turner at right guard. And in that scenario, we only have to worry about the left guard and center position. Now, at center, we don't really have any options. We know about Ryan Khalil being that guy. So I think that's definitely one of the biggest spots to look into in free agency in the draft. I'm thinking more of the draft, honestly, for the center position. And then left guard, we do have Amini Silatolu. He's going to be a free agent, but honestly, he's had multiple opportunities to step up into the starting role, and he's fumbled that bag, I think, twice now. Maybe 3 times, but I'm sure 100% it's been twice. I mean, once was not really his fault, but he's never really been a guy who's actually stepped up and performed to the level of a starter, so it's kind of sad. I mean, I don't think we pick him up again this offseason unless it's like for a very, very team-friendly deal, and he stays as a depth guy who comes up if someone gets injured, and our O-line likes to get injured sometimes. I mean, we have Taylor Hearn and Brendan Mahone. I mean, both these guys are also depth kind of guys. Decent, but, you know, not really guys you want to go into the season saying, okay, 100%, these are our starters, no questions about it. We're going to have to pick up some guys, and there's going to have to be some competition, especially for the center and left guard spot in training camp. Those are going to be those two are going to be some heated position battles going into training camp, and especially in the preseason. I mean, it's not really exciting to talk about, oh man, our center and our left guard position battle. Man, I got to keep an eye on this one, keep our scouts on this one. But I mean, it is what it is. That's what we need the most out on offense right now. So that's just what it's going to be. But I mean, honestly, if we can keep Daryl Williams for just one more year, see how he does, Trey Turner at right guard, and then Taylor Moton at left. I mean, only 2 positions to really worry about in the draft rather than 3. We can really focus on other positions. We have a little bit better options in the draft. Like, okay, if we need 3 positions on the O-line, we kind of have to go first and second round O-line. We can't go second, third, fourth, or second, third, since we're going to have another pick because of Andrew Norwell leaving. I mean, we could go second, third, but I'd like for 2 of our first 3 picks to be O-linemen. And if we only really need 2 starting O-linemen, we could be open to, you know, going first round O-line. And if there's a talent at like maybe edge rusher or maybe even a safety or a nickelback, maybe even a big body receiver. I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying big body receiver, 6'4", 6'5" kind of guy who can high point, deep fades, back of the end zone, front corner, back corner. Someone who's a real threat to get double teamed in the red zone to open up space for other guys. We can probably look at those kind of guys in the second round, maybe with our first, third round pick. We're not so strapped for being like tunnel vision in on, okay, O-line, maybe someone here in the third round, O-line for sure with the next pick. And we are probably even more open to, you know, trading down out of our third round pick, get a later third round pick, pick up a second, fourth rounder. You're not really looking to find starting level talent at the O-line position in the 4th round. So if the team's in a position where it only has to pick up 2 guys for the O-line in the first, you know, 2, maybe 3 rounds, it opens up a lot of other options for the draft. And maybe we can do a lot more things. And we'll be able to get a lot bigger variety in talent. But that's just me. What are your thoughts? What should we do with Daryl Williams? Do you think we should keep him? Do you think we should sign him to a long-term deal now? Should we franchise tag him? Should we let him walk and find someone else in free agency or the draft? Go hard body with the O-lineman in the draft? Let me know in the comments below. And you already know what to do with that like button.
Cheers to you, appreciate the chance. Being told y'all I been the man. Being told y'all I had the gift. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Real ones gonna recommend. Count this as another win.